David, a lot of us love a nap. Can you speak to some of the scientific benefits of napping?
Yeah, there's actually been a lot of research on this in the last 20 years, and a nap is as good as a night in terms of consolidating everything that happened and being able to perform better on cognitive tests after a nap. Essentially, some of the same mechanisms going on. You're during the day taking in lots of information, and then when you sleep, even just for 20 minutes, you're stitching things in there, and then you can perform better.
Is there a perfect length for a nap?
Yeah, you're supposed to sleep, let's say, 20 minutes before you go into the deepest phase of sleep, which is about at 30 minutes. So 20-minute nap is perfect.
Any time of day that you would suggest?
Usually people do it after lunch or the early afternoon. That's typical. And what they can do is listen to Sleep the music at 20x. And
Max, there's a trend of customizing sleep. People can have mattress covers that cool their bed to a certain temperature.
Yeah.
They can use nap pods. They can use the sleep app. What do you think of this kind of customization trend?
You know, I think whatever works, honestly. I mean, you know, so many people have difficulty sleeping, and it's a very individual thing. It's also an intimate thing. You know, it's you're entering a state of vulnerability. So anything that can make you sort of feel comfortable and you know, relaxed, then I mean, I think it's all good. Yeah.
Was there a way that you approached this vulnerability and kind of intimacy that people have with sleep when you were thinking about the piece of music?
Yes, and that goes back to the kind of musical material it is. Music generally is structured around ideas of sort of question and answer, if you like. So the material is set up to do a certain thing, and then another thing happens. And the way that works in sleep is that the answer is always yes. You know, so it sort of feels like it's comforting because everything makes sense. Again, unlike the waking world.
Tell me about some of the effects of the live shows.
The big thing that the live show does is it makes a community of sleepers. And there was an amazing example of this. We played a kind of a crazy show at the Great Wall of China right before the pandemic. And the security around the venue was extraordinary. There was a sort of ring of steel of armed soldiers. And it was a very sort of challenging environment, actually, and sort of, in a way, almost threatening, you know. So we, as, you know, the players and the crew, we got in there, we set up, and the audience all came in, and there were hundreds of people in beds, and all these soldiers, very heavy security, and we started to play. After a couple of hours, I get a little break, you know, so I can get a cup of coffee, and the strings are playing, and, you know, the music is going on. And I walked off stage, and I saw a corridor, and it was full of these soldiers with their guns, all asleep.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And for me, this was like a wonderful validation of something that creativity can do. You know, it was a sort of really special demonstration of, you know, why we do these things.
It also speaks to the power of the piece of music in it being cross-cultural. You can cross those boundaries that language prohibits us to do.
Well, that's one of the wonderful things about music, isn't it? It can travel just across any border.